UN staff were among the perpetrators of the October 7 massacre. UN staff, their salaries paid for with international taxpayer money, were involved in the barbaric, premeditated atrocities and abductions. At least 13 UNRWA employees are implicated in the massacre. 10 Hamas operatives, 2 Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and 1 unaffiliated. Of those, 6 UNRWA employees infiltrated Israel in the attack, 5 were Hamas, 1 unaffiliated. 4 UNRWA employees were involved in abducting Israelis, including 2 of those who infiltrated Israeli territory. Another 3 UNRWA employees, all Hamas, were summoned via text message to arrive at an assembly point on the night of October 6th and directed to equip themselves with weapons. At least 1 UNRWA employee supplied the Hamas invasion with logistical support. Another was directed to establish an operations room on October 8th. Not only does the evidence show that UNRWA staff were involved in the massacre, they were also directly implicated in holding hostages once they were in Gaza. At least 2 Israeli survivors of Hamas captivity have testified that they were held in the homes of UNRWA teachers. One of them, as Channel 13 reported, was moved between hideouts through UNRWA facilities. UNRWA is riddled with Hamas members. Our intelligence indicates that out of approximately 12,000 UNRWA employees in the Gaza Strip, about 10% are Hamas or Islamic Jihad operatives, and another 50% are first-degree relatives of a Hamas operative. Now, it's long been known that UNRWA is riddled with Hamas. This is an open secret. But Hamas is even more deeply embedded in UNRWA. Its infrastructure is literally embedded in UNRWA sites. The IDF has uncovered multiple instances of Hamas military infrastructure located inside UNRWA facilities, including schools and hospitals. Our troops have unearthed extensive Hamas infrastructure built into UNRWA schools, from tunnels to terrorist hideouts. Hamas uses these facilities under the UN logo to store arms, base rocket launchers, run headquarters, and locate tunnel shafts for the swift movement of forces throughout the Gaza Strip, who can then hide beneath the shield of the United Nations. Hamas routinely uses UNRWA schools as hideouts as part of its human shield strategy, blending into the civilian population in a way that it hopes will give it immunity. In many cases, Hamas and PIJ fire rockets and mortar shells from nearby and even within UNRWA schools. Now, Hamas operates out of UNRWA facilities, and it also steals its aid. We know that Hamas uses UNRWA resources for its needs, especially food, humanitarian aid, and fuel. There have been several significant incidents of fuel being stolen, including from hospitals, at an estimated value of more than $1 million, according to the intelligence we shared with UNRWA donors, as well as jeeps and other equipment. In light of the abundant evidence of UNRWA's complicity with Hamas and its failures to distribute aid to civilians who need it, Israel calls for the following. 1. The defunding of UNRWA. The minority of states still funding UNRWA, despite revelations of its staff's involvement in the 10/7 massacre, must suspend funds immediately. They must ensure that humanitarian aid reaches the people of Gaza and not through this Hamas front, which is siphoning it for himself. Foreign Minister Israel Katz has called for UNRWA to be replaced with agencies dedicated to genuine peace and development. It happens the rest of the world in every other conflict in the world where people are helped by genuine UN aid agencies and not by tailor-made refugee agencies. 2. The resignation or dismissal of UNRWA's leadership and a thorough investigation of what they knew about its ties with Hamas. There must be accountability for this cover-up, and UNRWA's leadership must be held accountable. And 3, consistent with his 3D vision for peace, requiring the destruction of Hamas and demilitarization of Gaza, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken forcefully of the need for de-radicalization in Gaza. He's therefore stated clearly the need to ensure that Gaza's children not be educated to be terrorists, as UNRWA has consistently practiced and as has been openly documented.
يعني هذا القرار اليوم عم تتخذ الدول المانحة لتوقف الأونروا قرار مشحف بحقنا كثير. يعني عم يقولوا لنا موتوا موتوا انتم واولادكم، موتوا انتم وقضيتكم. ما فينا، صعب كثير. هذا القرار بيأذينا صحيا تعليميا، بيقضي على مستقبلنا، بيقضي على افكارنا، بيقضي على اولادنا، مستقبل اولادنا.
صعب كثير المعيشة علينا كل كتعليم كطبابة كمساعدة. هي مساعدة عم تتقدم لنا حتى لو جزء بسيط. وهي القرارات اللي طلعت يعني موت على البطيء، ما فيني أكثر من هيك.